An old photographer walked up to Muhammad Ali at a Chicago charity event in 1979 and said, "I found something you need to see." The event was at a hotel ballroom, one of those fundraisers Ali did regularly. Black tie, speeches, silent auction. People paying money to stand in the same room as Muhammad Ali, to shake his hand, to get a photograph, to tell their friends they'd met the greatest. Ali was good at these events, knew how to work a room, how to make people feel special, how to smile and laugh and tell stories that made everyone forget they'd paid $500 for chicken and green beans. He was standing near the bar talking to a group of donors when he noticed the old man watching him from across the room. The man was maybe 70, white, thin, wearing a suit that looked expensive but old, like something he'd bought 20 years ago and kept in good condition. He had a leather portfolio tucked under his arm, and he was staring at Ali with an intensity that made Ali notice him. Their eyes met. The old man nodded slightly, like he was asking permission. Ali excused himself from the donors, walked over. "Muhammad Ali," the old man said. His voice was quiet, respectful. "I'm sorry to interrupt your evening." "You're not interrupting," Ali said, extended his hand. "What's your name?" "Harold. Harold Kellerman. I'm a photographer. Or I was. Retired now." They shook hands. Harold's grip was firm, but his hands were shaking slightly. Nerves, maybe. Or age. "What can I do for you, Harold?" Harold glanced around. The ballroom was full of people. Conversations everywhere. Music playing. No one paying attention to them. "Could we talk somewhere more private?" Harold asked. Ali studied him. The old man didn't look dangerous, didn't look like someone looking for money or fame, just looked nervous, like he was carrying something heavy. "Sure," Ali said. They walked out of the ballroom, found a small sitting area down the hall. Chairs, a coffee table. Empty. Quiet. Ali sat down. Harold sat across from him, set the portfolio on the coffee table between them. "I need to show you something," Harold said, "and I want you to know I didn't take these photographs. I just found them." "Found them where?" "Estate sale, last year. Guy died. His family was selling his belongings. I buy old photography equipment, cameras, lenses. Sometimes I find film or negatives. Interesting stuff from decades ago. Historical value." Ali nodded. Waited. Harold unzipped the portfolio, pulled out a large envelope. Yellow. Old. The kind photographers used to store negatives. "This was in a box of darkroom supplies," Harold said. "At first I thought it was just old film. But when I developed the negatives and made contact sheets, I realized what I was looking at." He handed the envelope to Ali. Ali took it, felt the weight. Something inside. Paper. Photographs, maybe. "Go ahead," Harold said. "Open it." Ali opened the envelope, pulled out a single sheet of photographic paper. A contact sheet. Dozens of small images arranged in rows, all from the same roll of film. And every single image was of Muhammad Ali. Ali stared at the sheet. His younger self. Maybe 22, 23. The time frame looked like 1964. Right before the first Liston fight. Or right after. That era. But these weren't public photographs. These weren't press shots or publicity stills or anything Ali remembered posing for. These were secret photographs. The first row showed Ali in a hotel room, standing by the window, talking to someone off camera. The angle was wrong, like it had been taken from across the street, through the window, without Ali knowing. The second row showed Ali in a gym, not posing, not demonstrating technique for cameras, just training, working the heavy bag, shadow boxing, alone. The angle was distant, hidden, like someone had concealed a camera and let it run. The third row showed Ali walking on a street, getting into a car, standing outside a building talking to someone, all candid, all unposed, all taken without Ali's knowledge. Ali's hands tightened on the contact sheet. "Where did you say you got these?" "Estate sale," Harold repeated. "Man named Vincent Caruso. Died in 1978. His family sold everything. I bought a box of darkroom equipment. This envelope was at the bottom." "Who was Vincent Caruso?" "I don't know. I looked him up. Couldn't find much. Not famous. Not a professional photographer as far as I could tell. Just a man who owned cameras and knew how to use them." Ali looked at the photographs again. His younger self, unaware, going about his life not knowing someone was watching, recording, building a file. "There's more," Harold said. He reached into the portfolio, pulled out 3 more contact sheets, set them on the table. Ali picked them up one by one. More photographs. Same style. Same era. All surveillance images. Ali in restaurants. Ali in parking lots. Ali entering buildings. Ali sitting in cars. All from distances. All from hidden positions. All without Ali's knowledge. Dozens of photographs. Maybe 100 total across the 4 contact sheets. Weeks of documentation. Maybe months. Someone had been following Muhammad Ali in 1964. Systematically. Recording his movements. His meetings. His private moments. "Did you find anything else?" Ali asked. His voice was steady, but something cold was moving through his chest. "Notes? Papers? Anything explaining why someone would do this?" "No," Harold said. "Just the negatives. And one thing." He pointed to the original envelope, the yellow one. Ali looked at it, noticed something he'd missed before. Writing on the front. Faded. Blue ink. A single name written in neat cursive handwriting. Ali read the name and felt his stomach drop. He recognized it immediately. Knew exactly who it was. Because it was someone Ali had known. Someone who'd been part of his life during that exact time frame. Someone who'd had access to Ali's schedule, his hotels, his training locations, his private moments. Someone Ali had trusted. "You know that name," Harold said. It wasn't a question. Ali didn't respond, just stared at the handwriting, the name, the realization of what it meant. "I thought you should have these," Harold said. "I thought about going to the press, selling them maybe. But that felt wrong. These are your private moments. Someone violated that. You deserve to know." Ali set down the contact sheets, looked at Harold. "Why?" Ali asked. "Why did you bring these to me? You could have sold them, made money. These are from 15 years ago. People would pay for these." Harold was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Because I spent 40 years as a photographer. I know what it means to have your privacy violated. To have someone document your life without permission. It's a violation. And you didn't deserve that. No one does." Ali nodded slowly. "Thank you." "There's one more thing," Harold said. "I checked. Vincent Caruso, the man who took these. He died in 1978. But I did some digging. Found out he used to work for an investigation firm in New York. Private detective type work. Surveillance. Background checks. That kind of thing." "Someone hired him," Ali said. "I think so. Yes. To follow me. To document you. Yes. Ali looked at the name on the envelope again. The person who'd hired Vincent Caruso to follow Muhammad Ali in 1964. To photograph him in secret. To build a file. It was someone from Ali's inner circle. Someone who'd been there during the Liston era. Someone who'd had legitimate reasons to know Ali's schedule and movements. Someone Ali had never suspected. Until now. "Can I keep these?" Ali asked. "They're yours," Harold said. "That's why I brought them." Ali put the contact sheets back in the envelope. Stood up. Extended his hand. Harold stood. Shook Ali's hand. "Thank you for bringing these to me," Ali said. "I hope knowing helps," Harold said. "Or at least gives you answers." Ali nodded, but he wasn't sure if knowing helped. Wasn't sure if answers were better than ignorance. They walked back to the ballroom together. Harold said goodbye. Disappeared into the crowd. Ali never saw him again. Ali stayed at the event for another hour. Smiled. Shook hands. Signed autographs. Posed for photographs. Did everything people expected Muhammad Ali to do. But his mind was somewhere else. On those photographs. On the name on the envelope. On the realization that in 1964, when he was 22 years old and fighting for his future, someone close to him had hired a private detective to follow him, to spy on him, to document his private life. The question was, why? What were they looking for? What did they think they'd find? What information were they trying to gather? And more importantly, did they find it? That night, back in his hotel room, Ali spread the contact sheets out on the bed, examined each photograph carefully, looking for patterns, looking for what the surveillance might have been trying to capture. The hotel room photos showed Ali with various people, managers, trainers, friends, people whose faces Ali recognized, but whose names he'd forgotten over 15 years. The gym photos showed Ali training. Nothing unusual, nothing scandalous. Just a young fighter preparing for the biggest fight of his life. The street photos showed Ali going about normal activities, walking, driving, entering buildings, nothing that seemed significant, which meant either the surveillance hadn't captured what it was looking for, or the significant moments were in photographs Harold hadn't found, or the surveillance itself was the point, just knowing where Ali was and who he was with. Ali thought about the name on the envelope, the person who'd commissioned this surveillance. He'd known this person well, had trusted them, had let them into his inner circle, had shared information with them that he didn't share with others. And that person had used that trust to spy on him. Ali tried to remember if there had been any signs, any moments in 1964 when this person had asked strange questions, had shown unusual interest in Ali's schedule, had seemed too curious about his private life. But nothing came to mind. Just normal interactions, normal conversations, the kind of relationship that seemed genuine at the time, which meant this person was good at hiding their real intentions, good at pretending, good at betrayal. Ali picked up one of the contact sheets, looked at an image of his younger self standing outside a building, talking to someone, laughing, completely unaware that someone across the street was photographing him. The innocence in that image hurt to see, not because young Ali looked naive, but because he looked trusting, looked like someone who believed the people around him had his best interests at heart. And someone had betrayed that trust. Ali set down the contact sheet, walked to the window, looked out at Chicago at night, the city lights, the traffic, people going about their lives with no idea that Muhammad Ali was standing in a hotel room dealing with a 15-year-old betrayal. He thought about calling the person whose name was on the envelope, confronting them, demanding an explanation. But what would that accomplish? The surveillance had happened 15 years ago. Whatever they'd been looking for was ancient history. The person might not even remember doing it, might deny it, might claim the handwriting wasn't theirs. And even if they admitted it, what then? Ali couldn't undo the past, couldn't go back to 1964 and stop Vincent Caruso from following him, couldn't prevent the violation that had already happened. All he could do was know, and carry that knowledge, and decide what it meant about trust and relationships, and the people you let into your life. Ali turned away from the window, looked at the photographs spread across his bed. Then he made a decision. He gathered all the contact sheets, put them back in the envelope, walked to the bathroom, turned on the shower. Hot water, steam, and he burned the photographs, one by one, held them over the sink, lit them with a match from the hotel, watched them curl and blacken and turn to ash. He burned all of them, every contact sheet, every image, the envelope too, the one with the name. He washed the ashes down the drain, made sure nothing remained. Then he went to bed. He never mentioned the photographs to anyone, never confronted the person whose name had been on the envelope, never tried to find out why they'd done it or what they'd been looking for. Because Ali realized something that night in Chicago, something important about privacy and violation and trust. The surveillance had happened. He couldn't change that. But he could control what he did with the knowledge. He could choose whether to let it poison his relationships, whether to let it make him paranoid, whether to let it change how he saw people. And Ali chose not to let it. Not because he forgave the betrayal, but because carrying that anger and suspicion would have hurt him more than it hurt the person who'd done it. So he burned the evidence, and he moved on, and he never spoke about it again. Years later, someone asked Muhammad Ali if he'd ever been betrayed by someone close to him. Ali thought about that question for a long time. Then he said, "Everyone gets betrayed eventually. That's part of life, part of being human. People let you down. People use you. People break your trust." "How do you deal with that?" the interviewer asked. Ali smiled, that famous smile that had charmed the world. "You remember that trust is a gift, and when someone breaks it, that says something about them. Not about you. You gave them something valuable. They chose to throw it away. That's on them. Do you regret trusting them?" "No," Ali said, "because the alternative is not trusting anyone, and that's no way to live." The interviewer asked if Ali had ever found out why someone had betrayed his trust. Ali shook his head. "Usually, the why doesn't matter. People have their reasons. Sometimes those reasons make sense to them even if they don't make sense to anyone else. What matters is what you do after. Do you let it destroy you? Or do you learn from it and move on?" "What did you learn?" Ali was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I learned that some people smile to your face while documenting your life in secret. I learned that proximity doesn't equal loyalty. And I learned that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is burn the evidence and let people carry their own guilt." The interviewer looked confused, asked what Ali meant by burning the evidence. Ali just smiled. "That's a story for another time." But it wasn't. Ali never told that story, never explained what he meant, never revealed the photographs, or the name on the envelope, or the decision he'd made in a Chicago hotel room in 1979. He took that secret to his grave, just like Vincent Caruso had taken his secrets, just like the person who'd hired him carried theirs. Some violations are too intimate to share. Some betrayals are too painful to speak aloud. So Muhammad Ali chose silence, chose to burn the evidence and move forward, chose to protect his own peace rather than expose someone else's guilt. That was his revenge. Not confrontation, not exposure, just the quiet dignity of knowing something others didn't know he knew, and living his life anyway, trusting people anyway, loving people anyway. Because that's what strength really looks like. Not anger, not bitterness, just the choice to keep going despite knowing how easily trust can be broken. The photographs burned in a Chicago hotel bathroom in 1979, but the lesson stayed with Muhammad Ali for the rest of his life. Some secrets you carry alone, some betrayals you handle in private, some evidence you burn because holding on to it would poison you more than it would ever hurt the person who wronged you. That's what Muhammad Ali learned the night Harold Kellerman showed him those photographs. That knowing can hurt more than ignorance, but burning the evidence can set you free.